Well, that Pakistan innings had absolutely everything. A cautious start, and then a bit of consolidation, and then they went absolutely berserk in the last few overs. 51 runs scored in the last 18 deliveries, and 130 in the back 10. They put up a decent total, but it was not looking like something that would blow an associate nation away, but they were just waiting. They played the waiting game, and look what they did towards the end. 14.2 runs an over between 16 and 20, which included, as I said, 51 of the last 3 overs. 10 fours and 2 sixes in that phase to finish with 189 for 2 in 20 overs. Rizwan, who scratched his way in the first 25 deliveries to 16 runs, got 63 in his next 25. 189 for 2, the final score. Here we are reviewing the first half of part of a doubleheader in Abu Dhabi after a low-scoring first game. What a change we've had. I'm joined by Simon Doull and Joy Bhattacharjya. Simon, you were on the right track in terms of which C you chose, but if it hadn't been for that conservative start, they would have actually got to your 2-1-3.
Yeah, they were a little bit conservative up front, but I can understand why. And to be fair, Trumpelman bowled a really nice first couple of overs as well. So don't take anything away from how he started up front. There was a little bit of movement, a little bit of swing, and I can understand why Babar and Rizwan were just taking their time a little bit, assessing those conditions. The last thing you wanted to be was 2 for 15, 2 for 20. So I get it. I just thought after 4 or 5 overs, they might have looked to be a little more aggressive. They just took their time, and waited till that probably 10th, 11th over before they started to be a little more aggressive. So I thought that might come earlier. It didn't, but still 189 is a very good total, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for Namibia to get close to it.
Yeah, and again, Joy, sensible, not words we keep using, not adjectives we keep using, but each time they continue to surprise us. Today, batting first, they've taken the sensible route to reach 189 rather than aiming for the stars and reaching a 140.
Absolutely. They kicked on. They looked as if they'll reach a 135, 140. Then you sort of recalibrated to 160, and then they finally reached at 189. I think they did that beautifully. It's always great to see it that way rather than the other way around, where you start thinking you're going to get 180 and then you sort of come down. Those 14.2 in the end, and that's the one thing. They didn't allow a single bowler to settle down. And I mean, the kickoff, you see what Trumpelman did. Trumpelman comes in, bowls first, Maiden in the first over, gives 2 runs in the second over, and he goes for 34 in his next 2 overs. 34 runs in his next 2 overs. So I think that's what they did very well. They played the stages of the game very, very well. And you look at that bowling attack, all of them started well. But other than David Wiese, none of them managed to retain their shape once the Pakistan batsmen got going. And the other thing I have to say is that this 189 total, there are at least an extra 20 runs in the field. I think the fielders the fielding was subpar to an extent that a lot of associate countries have gun fielders. This isn't one of them.
Yeah, a lot going through the legs. Maybe the ball was a little wet, but that was really no excuse because they can't do anything about quality players hitting their bowlers, but they can prevent balls going under their legs, Simon.
Yeah, they can. And that's the one thing you're in control of is your fielding effort. Pierre de Vrijn will be really disappointed with the fielding effort. I think he will accept that the bowlers at some stage are going to get collared against a quality opposition, a very powerful batting side. You can accept that. But the ground fielding, that's the one thing you can be in control of. And you can sort of make that your own. You can try and be the best fielding team in the competition. Might not always work out, but that is something that is in your control. And they were poor tonight. And they'll be very disappointed in that. So that 190... that they're chasing could have, as Joyce said, I think been 175 without 170, without the poor fielding.
And this is something we've seen almost as a pattern. Whether they're chasing, whether they're batting first, they just like to have that watch and wait approach in the first few overs to Babar Azam and Rizwan. And they've been doing it with such alacrity. Every single time they seem to be getting these big partnerships, and they've all been doing it in this current year, Joy. So again, an approach that is tried and tested worked for them.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. 5 century partnerships just in this year, 2021. And mind you, 2021, you haven't played that much cricket. They've had 2 series cancelled in between. So you take that and you take what these guys have done. And we also sometimes we mix up data. We look at ODI, so you'll get a lot more 100 ODI batting partnerships than you'll get of T20 batting partnerships, and that's something. To get 100-run T20 batting partnerships is much rarer than ODI batting partnerships, where you can afford to play the ball out a little more. So these guys are in red hot form. Also, they know each other's games. So when Rizwan was scratching around, Babar was finding the gaps in the field. He was making sure that the run rate was, if not great, at least 6 and over. They were in and around 6 and over, and then finally Rizwan just had the platform to take off.
Yeah, there was one situation where he played a shot he'd want to forget. He was almost dismissed. It was given out, took a review just about outside, millimeters outside umpire's call on point of impact. But other than that, virtually flawless. And Simon, he played a bit of a Joss Butler type innings. We saw Butler wasn't looking himself for the first 10 overs and then took off.
Yeah, and again, it's just about assessing those conditions, isn't it? And making sure that you know what your scoring zones are, how the ball is coming onto the bat. Again, we can, in a situation like this, you say it's very good. It ended up really well. Would it be the same against the top quality side? That's the question you have to ask. Can he afford to do that against a top quality bowling lineup? That time will tell with that. But it was a conservative approach, as we've talked about a lot. And when you do that, you have to make sure that you kick on. You have to make sure that you turn that. What was he, 16? You said off 25 balls, his first 25. So you have to turn that around at that stage, because you've wasted a lot of deliveries. So therefore, you have to make sure that you kick on and get a big score. He did tonight. It doesn't always work out that way, but Butler did it last night, and Rizwan did it tonight.
And when you have two people making stylish half centuries, you tend to forget a kick you got from a veteran, the professor, not known for doing anything more than just bunting it, pushing it around, getting ones, getting twos. He walked out there like a 16-year-old trying to force his way into a team, trying to tell all the selectors, listen, I'm a big hitter, select me. How good was Mohammad Hafiz, Joy?
I'm a huge fan of Hafiz. If you remember the first IPL season, he played for Kolkata Knight Riders, and he's one of the nicest men you'll come across. And John Buchanan, not renowned as a coach as much as he used to be then, John Buchanan actually told him something which I think has something to do with the way he plays the game, has continued to play the game. He said he told Hafiz he had too many shots that he didn't hit with enough accuracy. And he said that if he wanted to change his game, bring it down to 4 or 5 shots, just practice them more and try and hit them more accurately. And I think that's something Hafiz has done very well. He's adapted his game, which is why, 13 years on, he's a 40 plus, he's still a regular in the side. A strike rate of 200, especially when Rizwan was going berserk at the other end, it tells you that, whatever chances he had, and he really did it well.
Yeah, we were almost contemplating at the Combox that, once they're kicking on, the way Rizwan's looking, is Asif Ali going to be padded up? Are they going to chuck him in?
Absolutely.
I think Pakistan stuck to their guns, because Asif Ali's role typically has a target in mind, 30 to win, go out there and get it for us. This was not necessarily his game, and they gave it to Hafiz.
Yeah, and I think Asif Ali was getting ready to go with about 3 or 4 overs to go, and that's his go. That's his, that's his time of the game, and we've seen it, often of late, more often of late than we have seen it before. So I don't mind that, unless you're in deep trouble and Asif Ali has to bat. Then post the 16th over, post the 15th over, you get your pads on, get your gloves on, helmet, and ready to go. If we lose a wicket now, you're in. You're our man. You've got 30 balls left. If you face half of them, you'll get 40.
But yeah, I think what we continue to say about teams like Namibia, it's a learning curve, and they will come out of it a better team. They will know that ground fielding has to improve. Trumpelman will know. Joy, remember we said 2 overs for 2 runs. He doesn't want to go for 38 or 39. He went for 36 in his 4 overs. So they'll all learn their lessons. Now it's about coming out to the bat, I guess, and expressing themselves.
Yeah, I mean, look, they should just give it a go. I'd be disappointed if they scratch around. I'd like them to attack, and we've seen it happen. I love the way Sri Lanka has counter-attacked no matter what the situation is. And except for India and Bangladesh, a lot of teams have shown, real fighting spirit out there. I just hope Namibia does the same, because I think the chances of winning this game are very low, but they'll do themselves a real favor if they're brave out there today.
Yep, that's the word. That's the buzzword. That's the word Virat Kohli used at the end of the game. But I'm sure the kind of attitude the Associate Nations have, you'd expect them, Simon, to not be 118 for 6 at the end of 20 overs.
Yeah, you would think not. They're better off to go for it. And because I don't like the word brave, I would prefer courageous, because that's the theme of the night, isn't it?
You had to bring a C word in.
But yeah, I'd like to see them. In these sort of situations, you don't want them to, as Joy said, scratch around for 120 and try and bat out the 20 overs. It's not about batting out the 20 overs. It's about testing yourself under pressure, playing some shots. And look, if you get bowled out for 130, 140 in the 15th or 16th, so be it. But don't go out and wondering. Don't finish this game against a top tier nation wondering what could we have done. What if we'd been a little more aggressive? What if we'd taken a few more chances? You don't want to finish a game like that. So I hope they are aggressive. I hope they take that approach and show some courage.
Yeah, to borrow a term from golf, you want to treat it more as match play than a stroke play, because you're not going to get there. So you don't want to have a putt that falls short. You'd much rather it flies past, but you give it every chance to get in the hole.
That's it, exactly.
There you go. I've got on Simon's good side now with that golf analogy. But Joy, they're obviously going to be facing quality bowling. They're going to be facing Rauf. They're going to be facing Afridi. In the light of that, what do you think they can get in 6?
I'm going to go 43, because I can't see them collaring Afridi in any way. They'll have to target Hassan Ali or whoever comes on, because I can't see them hitting Rauf or Shaheen Afridi that easily.
Okay, it's 33 for me.
They'll have to take risks against the spinner, yeah.
So 43, 33?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't go in the middle. I'll go lower. I'll go 27.
All right, fair enough. 27.
Yeah.
Expecting wickets up front. Why not? From 213 for Pakistan down to 27 for Namibia in the power play. But remember, none of us got anywhere close, because Pakistan was sandwiched in between the low bowling and Simon's humongous total of 213. But nonetheless, from the context of the game, it's a huge total Pakistan have posted. Namibia will do well to show a bit of fight, and that's what we are hoping to see. That's all we have on Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you in 10 overs time on Cricbuzz Combox, and then when we wrap the double header in a few minutes time. That's all from Cricbuzz Live.